If you have a child who is struggling academically, socially, or even behaviorally, there's a new program that's named Brain Balance, and it's been proven to help kids overcome these challenges. And here to talk about this program are the center's directors, Rebecca Jackson and Susan Melillo. Thank you, ladies, for joining me.
Thank you.
First off, Susan, this happens a lot. Is this becoming an epidemic in America?
It is. It's a major problem. If you look at the statistics that are out there for autism, the most recent are 1 in 88 children are being diagnosed with autism. And as far as ADHD, the numbers are even higher. Our North Carolina is the highest state in the nation for ADHD.
And it almost feels sometimes like people just think even just some normal behavioral patterns with kids. They just say, oh, well, they must just be an ADHD kid. And a lot of times it's often overprescribed, right?
Absolutely.
So tell me how Brain Balance works.
So Brain Balance, how we're different from traditional options is we find a lot of traditional options are looking at the symptom and trying to address or treat that symptom. So for example, medication is a great example of using the medication to mask or treat an identified symptom. And what we're trying to do at Brain Balance is we're what's considered a brain-based approach. So we're looking to see if there's a region of the brain that isn't properly engaging or functioning. And so through very isolated specific stimuli, we're trying to turn on and engage that region of the brain over and over and over again, and then get that region to connect with another region to create those permanent lasting changes.
So you're not just trying to fix the problem, or you're not just trying to provide a solution to the problem, you're trying to find out what's causing this in this child.
Exactly, and that's the key is the symptoms are there for a reason, and the symptoms are important and need to be addressed, but at the end of the day, what we find is where we can create the largest change for the child is not addressing each individual symptom, but addressing that underlying cause. And by doing that, you can see a really global impact in the child. You can see change in emotional maturity, social interactions, academics, behavior, impulse control, and the list can kind of go on and on and on depending on what regions of the brain are involved.
And so what are the symptoms that I should be looking for in my children, or that our viewers should be looking for in their children, that makes me think that, you know what, they could really benefit from the program?
Well, if they have a child that's struggling in school and maybe has always struggled from the beginning, from kindergarten on up, that's a sign. If you have a child who just can't make friends well, that really doesn't understand how to impact, and work with another child to really engage with them, that's a warning sign as well. And also a child who really can't attend and focus for very long, that has those impulse actions that they really are not able to kind of break and put a break on that.
It's weird you said that, because I've been back home and I look at my report cards from when I was a child, and every one of my report cards says, Mike is smart, I don't understand why he's not comprehending, or he can't sit still, or he daydreams. And this is kind of a new science. Nobody knew about ADHD. I suffer from it, and through a lot of treatment and now medication, I've finally been able to get right in my life. But a lot of children just don't have the opportunity to be able to find the root of these problems. But after they do Brain Balance, what are the long-term benefits that you're seeing when it comes to the kids or even their families?
For long-term benefits, what's so important is we don't want to just give a child coping mechanisms or strategies. That's working around the problem and not really getting, again, to that root cause of the problem. And so to make long-term changes, again, it's through making those permanent connections in the brain. And the best example I can give of that is working out versus learning to ride a bike. We've all had that 3 months of working out hard, and then you stop, and before you know it, you're back to square one. Learning to ride a bike is an example of integrating the brain. You can go 20 years and jump on a bike and still do a great job on being able to ride a bike. So we're creating those permanent lasting pathways in the brain. So that means at the end of the program, there's going to be demonstrable, measurable change in the child, but more important than that, 5 years down the road, we're closing that gap on those pockets of immature development so that things continue to track forward then on pace. And you made a great point with talking about with your report card, smart child struggled with comprehension. That was a red flag right there, that there was an area of your brain not engaging to the degree it could have or should have.
And as a parent, it's kind of scary when you think about whether or not you want your kids to be great in school, and a lot of times they may be smart, but they're not able to make those connections. And it's great that you guys are here. Thank you so much for talking about Brain Balance. I really appreciate it. To find out more information about the Brain Balance program and how it can benefit you or your children, please schedule an appointment at either their Cary or Wake Forest locations. Go to brainbalancecenters.com.